What's going on, fellow humans and resellers? It is I, James, RedoptionAgency.com, 23 years selling full-time on eBay. And we are Sunday, 12 noon, a little bit after. Slept in today, and it felt good. But let's see what happened yesterday on eBay. A couple of new changes I'm doing, and well, one new change I'm doing, and a couple of things. How about that? A couple of things. So first and foremost, one thing I decided to do before, I was keeping, I keep track of my daily numbers. So I have a column for my first eBay store, my second eBay store. Had a column for Poshmark, but I'm closing that down, so I squiggled that one out. I got a column for YouTube, for PayPal. And then I have my minuses columns, pirate ship, my bank account, and my business card. So this covers everything that goes in and out on a daily basis. So I keep it all right in front of me every day so I know what's going on. With a running total, like as of right now, since I just spent like $1,200 on shipping supplies. I'm actually negative to this day for the year, $1,449. So when I say I usually keep right at what I'm supposed to be at. Now, 0 is everything's paid for. 0 means my payroll's paid, all the bills are paid, and life is hunky-dory. So that's 0. So right now I'm negative 1448, which usually happens at the very beginning of the month because I have at the end of the month and at the beginning of the month, the most stuff comes out. So that's why at the beginning, so I usually catch up toward the middle of the month. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. But what I was doing also on this was I was writing down how many items I listed per day. I'd keep running total. Rough estimate, I have 4,000 items I've listed this year so far. But there's been a lot of times where I forgot to write it down, or I'm just in a zone, and so it's over 4,000. Where it is, I don't know. So I'm like, you know what? And I noticed it was slowing me down because when I would forget and then actually remember, I would go back and have to recount and like, okay, what did I list? And I was wasting a lot of time. So I'm like, let's just scratch that. Let's just redo the whole thing. And if I was going to rethink things different than I've ever done, what would I do? So I decided that I was going to write down once a week, every Monday. So I went ahead and did it today for this first week on a Sunday, just because it was thought of today. So I'll do this every Monday. And I'm going to write down the dollar amount that is in my store. And I'm going to write down the quantity of items in my store. Before I would do quantity, I would never count duplicates. Like, you know, this listing has 10 pieces. I would never count that. And I'm like, why? So today, or yesterday, I'm like, why would I not count those? Those are future sales. Just because it's one listing and it's got several items doesn't mean you're only going to sell one item out of 5, 10, 2, 3, whatever you got in there. So why are you not accounting for them? They got to account for something. They mean something. Let them mean something. So I'm keeping a running total of my dollar value of inventory listed, and I'm keeping a running total of the items I have listed. And then once a week, I will jot down those numbers, and the difference is what I increased my store that week, dollar-wise and piece-wise. So I figured that's probably going to be the best way to do it, the easiest way to do it. The way that's not going to slow me down, I can just do the numbers once a week and go, oh, my store has grown X amount of dollars this week and X amount of items this week. Plain and simple. So like as of right now, My value for both of my stores is $678,448. This does not include the eBay international sites. I'm just leaving those out. Why? They're just they are duplicate listings, technically. The stuff I'm accounting for are not duplicate listings. So, kind of makes sense. So $678,448. So, how long will it take to get that to $1 million? So and this is with the 20% off sale. This is with everything on sale. So that number's higher when things are not on sale. So whenever I do this, I got to make sure my sale's running or whatever I'm doing at the time, so it doesn't look like it's falsely inflated or anything. Because if I did it next week without a sale on, then, I grew my store to over $1 million. Now, so as of right now, everything in my store is 20% off. So this number is with the 20% off. And number of items throughout both stores is 76,845. So I go, you know what, a nice go with 20% off. And I usually run the same sale all year long, and I do it for a month long at a time. And before it used to be 30. I think I'm happy with the 20 now, especially with, we had fees go up a little bit. Shipping's always a pain in the butt when it comes to rising prices. And I'm still right there. I'm like 20%. I'm just going to stick with that for a while. And then if it ever changes, that'll be a little asterisk footnote in my totals. So I think my goal will be 1,100,000 items. So nice, clean, round numbers. Like if you add 20% onto that, and this is not going to be spot on technically. 67 plus 67 equals 134. So 134,000 plus 678. So technically, I'm guessing without the 20%, roughly about $800,000 of value in my store. So either way, it's below $1 million. Let's get to $1 million. And let's get to 100,000 listings. So almost 77,000 listings when you count multi-piece listings. So that is what I'm doing on that front. We had 2 24-hour sales. This is going to be the media video for Sunday. So I got one 24-hour sale here, and I'm going to have one in my other store. So my other store, this is for that. And working on the weekend, it was one of those items I picked up Friday. So we'll talk about that in the other video. But our 24-hour sale for March, the goal is $3,000, $116. So very slow out of the gate. But yesterday I felt good. Felt like I was rolling. So hopefully I'll keep that feeling going. Every time I change stuff, I get that little boost of energy. So even just changing my thought process gave me that little boost. Because I bogged myself down too much, thinking too much. I got to stop that. I got to keep it simple. And I always find a roadblock that slows me down. And I hate that about myself. So I got to figure out a way to break it. And I don't know what it is. I always try to recapture that feeling I had the day before or whatever, when I was doing something, was in a zone or whatever. But I usually don't. I usually can't. So I don't know what it is, because when I put a system in place, I get tired of that system, and it burns me out, and then I change it. Then I get that little boost of woohoo, and it burns me out. And that's just a constant thing with me, and I hate it, hate it, hate it. So I really need to find a different focus during the day. And I don't know, I wish, like, sometimes I have, in the past, building the business, I used to use people who were building businesses at the time. Like in the early 2000s, you had things like, that was on TV that I enjoyed watching, like Orange County Choppers, or what was some of the other stuff? Some of the Fast and Loud. So I would watch them, and and there was other things too. I can't remember other people, but I would use those and go, build something. They're building something. Build something, and I use that as motivation. Then, like, now, I can't find that. Where is that? Well, if I can't find it, let's be it. Let's be that motivation, So it's kind of where my head's trying to go to. So I'm trying to, like, fine tune me and my systems and my thought processes to keep myself focused and going every single day. So, but that's hard. It's hard to do. I think you always have to have something that's influencing you. I wish I had pictures of, the apartment I grew up in, because I would print them out and post them up in front of me every day so I could see right there. That's what you're doing. You came from that. You're not going back from that. It's right there in your face. But it's so hard, like, especially in the world today. It's just, and when you've been doing something for so long, you get comfortable, and you're happy with that being that comfortable, and which can be dangerous. So I'm trying to find that next stage because a lot of stuff with, that's been going on with Pee Wee, and I've had a lot of excuses. Let's just put it that way. I made a lot of excuses, whether it was time that I had to put more effort into paying attention to him, to just not being able to find the focus within me when nothing was going on, to the days when Jan's here and I let her distract me so much that I can't get back into the focus. Like, I've made a lot of excuses. So I got to figure out a way around that, to at least when I'm standing there in front of that computer, I can turn it on and boom, go. And I can't always do that unless I've made a change or a new thought process. Doing the same routine, I guess I got to find that little change in each day, but still the same process. That little change that says go. But what that is yet, I have no idea. Because it comes to the same with, like, exercising and stuff with me. Like, when I find a little focus and something to shoot for, I'm go, 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 go. I can, if I had that focus right now, in 2 months, I would look totally different than I do right now, because I've done it several summers. So what is that? What is that focus for me? What is that goal for me? My goal before was being comfortable, technically. Not having to worry, not having no stress, being able to sleep at night. That's comfortable. What's beyond that? I don't know. I watch, like I've been, I see people on Whatnot and they're just hustling, right? Daily, selling things for $1, $5, $2. And I'm just like looking at it at first and I'm like, man, these people are just giving stuff away. They're working so much, but they're just it's like giving. And then another part of me will be like, yeah, but they're hustling. They're doing something. They're working towards something. Hopefully they're doing it, intelligently, that they're not going to wind up out of business for making some wrong decisions. She moved. But so I'm like, stop looking at it negatively. Stop looking at it as, it's something you wouldn't do because you don't feel it's worth the time. But you may be looking at it wrong. You may not be seeing the whole picture. You may be missing something. So I don't know. I'm just trying to change it all. Like for me, it's always been focusing on something big. Like lately it's been, oh, that Lamborghini would be cool, knowing I'm never going to get it. But then over time, I know I'm not going to do it because I wouldn't be dumb enough to spend the money on it, right? Because I've always been live below your means type of thing. So I would never do that unless I was 10 times living over the affordability of that, if you will. So let's rein it back in. Let's find something more realistic and shoot for that, or use that as the motivation. So find that realistic goal or expectation and go. And maybe it's just something as simple as 1,100,000 items. It's not that far off. It's only 25,000 more items. It's only $400,000 more of inventory. Go. You have it. You have that inventory. You don't even have to buy it. You've got it. Go. So now it's coming down, it'll come down to the micro daily, making sure that I don't get distracted as much. Maybe I need to say it every day. Maybe on my videos, I need to say this every day to get myself riled up. Maybe I need to vocalize the flaw so that day I don't waste it away. So maybe I will see how I react today by vocalizing this, and if it worked. Because once the weather kicks up, I want to go out and exercise almost daily. I want to stop at 5, go ride my bike for an hour or two. If nothing's on TV, go back to work, be back at work at 7. After I come home, take a quick bath. I either crash for the night and watch TV, or I go back to work. And normally it'll be go back to work unless it's like, because Jan don't get home till late anyway. So I usually wait for her and we watch, like Curse of Oak Island. Don't watch too much, but what we do watch, we usually watch together. So I'm usually waiting for her anyway. So at 7, then I could come back in and work 7 to 9. So I've got to start thinking a little bit differently than I have been within the past year, I guess you could say, throughout the winter. Anyway, let's get moving. What did my media store do yesterday? All right, yesterday on eBay was Saturday, $379. I thought we were going higher than that because it looked like we were having a pretty steady day, but it kind of slowed down in the evening. Because the day before that was only 343, the day before that was only 336. So we're still in the 300s. Definitely want to kick out of that as we're trying to work each store up to a $500 day consistently. But at 12:30, I'm at $221. So I'm already over halfway to yesterday's numbers before the halfway point of the day. Will it continue? Will eBay rear its ugly head? And let me see if I had any international orders yesterday to add to that. So it was $379. Yep. $426. So boom. So $426. So pretty close to the $500. We were getting there. So the power of web interpret and selling on the international eBay sites. And if you're curious about that, it's web interpret. You can go there, hook your store up, read about it first and stuff. They take like 5% of each sale. Like you don't promote on those sites, so that 5% is almost like if you were promoting on the US site. You can look at it that way. But it would give up to 20,000 of your items out there to other countries and their eBay sites. So. But the thing is, you need to learn about what is not allowed and what is allowed in, what is not allowed in certain countries. Like if you got new Levi's, new Nike, they don't go on international sites. You can put in keywords to block. So I got Nike blocked. I got Levi blocked. Things that have a signal like cordless phones, radar detectors, that stuff's can't do it. Mature video games are not allowed in like Europe and stuff. So you got to find ways around that. Like the video game thing I have on my video games, I don't ship internationally on them. I've got it turned off, so I don't have to worry about it. And then I got keywords blocked on web interpret, like phone and radar detector, anything that might come up within that they had taken off before that I learned about. So all right, let's do some ship on. Get this puppet rolling. Got 41 orders here. 2 I have not pulled yet. They've sold since I started. Get rid of the international because I know there was some from yesterday I did not ship, like the Australia, France, Canada, Australia, UK. Remove. Ooh, I can combine 3. Combined it is. And let's go. All right, Blue Tone Shake Shake. 45 record. .45 record. That sold for $6.50. Headed to Hudson, Ohio. I think for me, like spring, summer, and fall is a lot easier to motivate myself as opposed to winter. Winter, I always say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and it usually never comes to fruition. So hopefully being able to open the door, open the window, breeze coming through the house, that'll be like a nice motivating factor there. Medicine. I cut Pee-wee back on one of his pills. Because if I remember, we put him, the last time he had seizures, we'd put him on those pills. And he was wobbly for a while afterwards. And then we cut him back to 4. Now, whether that was from 5 to 4 per day or per 12 hours. Whether that was what changed it or not, I don't know. So maybe it was just a coincidence. So I went ahead and backed it back down to 4 even because he's got the other new one on top of it. Because even yesterday or last night, he was a little wobbly and stuff. So Mel Torme cassette tape sold for $5. Headed to Middleburg, Florida. Brandon. And I think coming down, since I'm doing basically 99.9% of the shipping now, Bonnie Raitt cassette, it's kind of helps with the motivation because I'm not stuck in that same room. I can get out for a minute or an hour and do something different. And then that helps me going back in, going, okay, let's go. Gauge. Next up, Duke Ellington Caravan on cassette. Sold for $4.50, headed to Waltham, Massachusetts. So I think as of right now, like last week's average per day made was $750. So we were going to try to beat that this past week. I think as of right now, we are up. So that's a good thing. So I'll look tomorrow we'll go over those numbers tomorrow to see. Next up, Surreal Stapleton. 45 records sold for $6.50, headed to Huntington, Massachusetts. So we'll do the week numbers tomorrow. See what we did last week. I think we were up. 4. Paul. Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog. Next up, I'm even going to try to pronounce this stuff. Whatever that is. So for $7, headed to Tempe, Arizona. Tempe, Arizona. Five, 6, 9. Fred. United States Naval Academy. Glee Club. I could use resurface. So for $8.50, headed to Oxford, Ohio. Carol. And next up, are you ready for a video game launch? Yeah. 4 video games for the Wii. 5555 buy 2 get 2. We got Cabela's Dangerous Hunts. I'll take that off since it's a used stock picture. Oh, we got Sega Bass Fishing. Same I used. We got Major League Baseball. Disc only. I think in like coming down here a lot more now, you know, shipping and stuff, doing a lot more shipping. Like I look at down here differently now, you know, I want to keep it nice and neat and well together, and what can I do next, you know, like with the bridge things I did and stuff. So it helps me try to you won't stay in there, will you? Keeps my creative thing going, like, you know, what can I do next that will be pretty cool looking plus very organizing, you know, organizing, pleasing, if you will. North America Adventure, Cabela's. I definitely got to get this fixed up. And I realized something today too. When I get this built up over here, and I want to get those built up over here, I got a lot of space right here above my computer. That just I could build some kind of a bridge piece here to store stuff, whether that's supplies or whatever, and I could just reach up and grab it instead of reaching over. So that's on my radar also. This stuff's headed to Seaford, New York. My goal is to grow into every open space that I have one way or another. Come on. Utilize every inch of air to the best of its ability. And let's get that 100,000 pieces by the end of the year. 11, 10, 12, 3. Andrew. Patsy Cline CD, Definitive Collection, sold for $5, headed to Iowa. And I'm also just trying to think of something new to create, you know, kind of like, do I keep going with these cards, you know, my reseller cards? Do I do something different? If I do something different, what is that? I've always had these little characters I had made called orphan heads. John. And somewhere I've got a notebook with, like, I wrote a backstory for every character, but they're orphans in an orphanage, kids in an orphanage. LA Mass Choir, Can't Hold Back, sold for $29, headed to Pennsylvania. And the orphanage is, instead of kids being adopted, their whole shtick is not to be adopted because they've built this empire within the orphanage that the masters or whatever don't know about. So they're making all this money and stuff on the low in the orphanage. So nobody wants to get adopted. They all want to stay within this orphanage to be a part of this family, if you will, this business. And yeah, one of there was the one I like the most is the ringleader. He's like the one who's always doing the conniving, if you will, to make sure, if somebody comes to see Sally doesn't get adopted. So he figures out a way to keep her there because she wants to stay there, not against her will or anything. So he's the brains of the operation. And then and then you have this this other character who goes into who's technically two characters. One is like a kid who can't speak English, and then one who can, but the one who can acts like he can speak the same language, and he's always misinterpreting what the other person's saying just with it, because he wants, oh, he said da da da, no, when he technically really didn't, but in a playful way. So I can't remember what any of the other backstories after that. Those are the two backstories I remember that stand out the most. But I had backstories written for them. I had about 5 characters, I think. Gina. I always wanted to do something with them. And then, like, if I ever made big money off of them, do something to promote child adoption, because my mom was in an orphanage and stuff like that. So, but and then with the name Redoption Agency, I always wanted to use one of them as like the mascot of the business, but I never just put any effort into that. Maybe I start there and then grow it from that. Marvelette CD sold for $10.50, headed to Deltona, Florida. Deltona. Four, 6, 9. Blaze. And I'm starting to realize that all that stuff might be easier to do nowadays with AI. Like, I could just put in some of the facts I want this character to be, and AI might fill in the blanks for me. The Astronauts on vinyl sold for $10, headed to California. So there's an extra sheet in here. So pull that aside and use that. It is Ruben. I'm gonna do this. Next up, are you ready? Hey, for a DVD line? Yeah. We got box sets. Family Guy and Red Skellington. 5555, buy 2, get 2. Headed to Knights, Michigan. Yeah, that's gonna be fine. Nobody watches Red Skellington anymore. Usually on box sets, disc one's always the worst one. So I check one. If that's like on the fence, then I'll go to disc two. On the fence there. Disc three. Yes, I think I'll resurface this one. I have to go box on this. Put that down here. So put that on top. Oh, it was like I vanished. Bet you got scared I was gone. Where'd he go? Where did he go? Oh my god! He disappeared into the abyss. He just vanished, man. Okay, three. This is 1064, right? 1064. Nope, 1086. Adam. Next up, Operation Flashpoint. PC game. Sold for $5. What's up, baby girl? Headed to Oregon. What's up, kiddo? What's she doing? You gotta go bathroom? I don't think you went out this morning. You gotta go to the bathroom? Okay, let me open the door for you. Bob. Okay, I'll get you. You gotta go bathroom? Alright. Let's go. We'll open the door for her. Let's go open the door for you. Those steps are so hard for her. Next up, are you ready? Hey. For a cassette lot. Got Glenn Miller. He came in as separate. These were all combined into one. So he came in separately and bought these for $4.50 a piece. What's up, kiddo? The door's open if you gotta go. So I have to refund some shipping on these. So $4.50 a piece, headed to Germantown, Tennessee. So still a market for Glenn Miller. Glenn Miller fans are not all dead, right? Oh, I forgot to order these again. I keep forgetting to order these. Don't I, kiddo? How you feeling today? Feeling better than yesterday? Uh-oh. You feeling better than yesterday? The door's open if you gotta go outside. I go to the bathroom. Okay. 10. Ooh, my tummy talking. Eric. tummy talking. Next up, we got classical cassette lock. Sold for $5. Headed to Goodlettsville, Tennessee. You just want to sit here with me? Okay, you stay there. You sit there with me. After this last hospital stay, he is like more attached to me than ever before. When we go out front, if he's not going to the bathroom, he comes back to me and just sits right beside me. He's laying right beside me right now. Michael. Before, if I left my office to go out to whatever, run down here, run in the kitchen, he would wait to see how long I was gone before he moved, where now he just gets up and follows me instantly. Mother's Finest CD. Sold for $8, headed to Winder, Georgia. You're scratching your chin on the carpet. Buffet. This is the 24-hour sale, and I'm like, contemplating. Nobody had this up, and I'm like, what do I put it up for? Contemplated 50 or 40. Went with 40. Boom, sold. So it's a AMC Theaters background music disc. So for $40, headed to Texas. I think what I want, like, how I want to kind of start looking at things is stop undervaluing things. Not just these things, like everything in life. I feel like I undervalue this. The time I put into creating this. The amount of times I had to start over in the last 23 years because suspended off Amazon, and then when I did that, I took everything off eBay to start totally over, to reorganize, and I think I did that one other time too, before this whole system was in place. I ended everything to start over to come up with a better organizing system. So I've started over probably at least 3 different times, 2 to 3, counting the beginning, 3 different times in the past 23 years. I think I need to just, not in an egotistical way, but just start giving myself more credit than I do. I'm harder on myself than anybody else. Here comes Courtney back. Baby girl's back! Yay! Went to the bathroom. I think I just gotta start being so hard on myself and just give myself more credit or something. Something like that. Isley Brothers CD. Sold for $5. Headed to Dallas, Texas. For Mary. Next up, Rodin VHS tape. Sold for $8, headed to Freehold, New Jersey. He's just sitting there all proper, like, all stoic, like. Somebody's farting. Is that you? He hasn't pooped in the last 24 hours. The door is open, kiddo. But he hasn't eaten a lot either, so. But he did eat, the last 2 times he ate everything, so. Looks like he's got his appetite coming back. John. Unforgettable 50s CD set. Sold for $5, headed to Highland, Utah. Five it is. Barbara. Rock and Learn, Dance with Animals DVD. Sold for $5, headed to New Jersey. Just want to square it off. Square, 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 square. Yeah, I might have to resurface this one too. The way she's laying, I love it. The baby girl. It's a baby girl. Pee-wee, you smell like a baby's diaper right now. Martin. Martin. And then my stomach's growling. Alrighty. Next up, we've got Alta Mix. You can't lay on me. DJ Records, 12 inches. I mean, sold for $15. Headed to Georgia. You've made my movement limited, kiddo. Donald. Next up, we got Mr. Rogers DVD, sold for $14.50, headed to Eddington, Maine. Lance. I've got a lot of several things that's going far today, like the main. These are coming up at $4.62, a penny under medium mail. So that tells me they're going to the farthest reaches of the U.S. from me. So I think it's the third thing so far. Glory and Praise cassette tape. So for $4.50, headed to Plainville, Massachusetts. I think I'm starting to realize too the length of time I've been doing this. With all the people who are dropping out of the game, and I got a feeling it's not done yet, being able to survive the chaos that eBay's created is extremely difficult. And then, like I said, you see people just giving stuff away on Whatnot. I don't think you can do that forever. You know, you can do it at the beginning to really, you know, to build up your audience or whatever. And I think the only way they're going to survive is if they are able to really build up their audience. The Blue Denier, Arthur Fielder, 8-track, sold for $5, headed to Fullerton, California. The people who, it's almost like in 2025, the people who, you know, have the big following and make the big money on YouTube is a step ahead, if you will, you know. Like without that, I don't think they would last very long. Randy. It's almost like it has to be part of your business plan these days, your system. Jefferson Starship Nuclear Furniture, sold for $5, headed to Fort Collins, Colorado. Because if I had to buy and didn't have the stock that I have, I would probably be hurting right now. Or at least trying to figure it out, one, you know, or both. Next up, we got Majestic DVD. Sold for $5, headed to Michigan. Follow me. Look at that now. Yep. Sorry, just make sure you don't eat that plastic. 4. Sure. Next up, we got Clerks DVD. Sold for $6.50, headed to Columbia, Missouri. Dude, you're closing me in even farther now. Dursey. Next up, we got The Box movie. Sold for $5, headed to Crossville, Tennessee. Violet. Two Worlds 2 for the PS3, sold for $4. Headed to Oshkosh, Wisconsin. stuck in this spot. Lucas. That's 2 Lucas in 2 days. And the last US item, Lewis Rankin 12-inch. Sold for $8, headed to Holyoke, Massachusetts. I'll move a little. Heater's kicking on because it's still like 55 outside. I have to go close that door, but almost done with the US, with the media. Oh, repeat buyer, DJ Flash Riviera. Angel. All right, $144 in postage. Confirm and pay. We're gonna have a long one today. Boom, 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 boom. Spinning wheel of death. Anytime now. Please, thank you. Beautiful. And let's go. Ooh, we're gonna touch Courtney. Courtney, are we coming to you? I'm gonna drape over you. I'm gonna drape over you. You're just staring at me. What are you doing? Where are you going? Welcome, Courtney. Now you're coming on. All right, good. I got you to move for a minute. I need the space. You get me so here. Get the glasses back on. All right, we got Angel. Lucas, Violet, Darcy, Sharon, made a boo-boo there. A little crooked. I had this person yesterday, like, good Lord, these people. Where's my item? You haven't even dropped it off yet. I'm like, yes, I have. I hate that eBay just doesn't, I mean, the USPS just doesn't scan things properly. I'm like, things have not been scanned until they show up in your state. It'll be there. No, it's not. You didn't even drop it off. I'm like, dude, I send out 100 items a day. I've been doing this 23 years. I know how the USPS works. It's been dropped off. He finally backed off. Good Lord. People. If he was coming back, I had my next comment. I'm like, yeah, I can send out up 100 packages a day, but I'm going to pick you to screw over, right? Is that how that works? Are you that full of yourself that you think you're that special that I picked you out of 100 or I should say 1,000 people to screw over? Is that? Are you that narcissistic? Don't get me started, boy. Don't get me started. I'll treat you like the daddy you never had. Spank your booty. I ain't afraid to spank my kids. I'll treat you like my kid. Don't fall. I only had to spank the boys one time. Like my mom used a fly swatter on us. But my tactic was always just make them respect you. Don't make them scared of you, make them respect you. So I always used nose to nose. Like when they did something really wrong, I'd be nose to nose with them and I'm yelling and I go, don't you even move, even though spit's coming out of my mouth because I'm yelling so much. Like, don't you even move. And I yell the whole time. There's only one time that they kept moving or whatever, and I just spanked the booty. Never had to do it again. And only really had to get nose to nose with them maybe 3 times. So they grew up to be good kids, good adults, good people, good humans. Every other time, you know, it wasn't a yelling thing at him. I would just be like, logically talk to him. Go, here's why you don't really want to do this. It can lead to this, you know. That was always my first and foremost go-to, which usually worked. Thankfully. They didn't wind up doing drugs or stealing cars, you know what I mean? So many parents are absent these days. Alright, that is all for this video. That is the media store. Next up will be the clothing store. So, thanks everybody, and I will see you all in the next video. Later.